She approaches them and they're immediately wetting their pants.
And then she immediately murks them. She starts biting one of their faces off. The other one starts, I don't think this love for me. I don't think you doing for me. The creepiest kid shows.
Kid shows aren't normally something that's supposed to be scary. In fact, they're the opposite. They're usually the most bright.
Nah, but there's a couple though. Goosebumps 100% is one of the first shows that comes to mind. There was a kid show on Nickelodeon way back in the day. I don't remember the name of it, but it was about like a haunted house, and that shit gave me nightmares. And then there's also that kid show on Nickelodeon with like the two dudes that look like sausages. Nothing super creepy about the show. It just makes my skin crawl.
Be sweet and kind pieces of meat that you can find in the world. But sometimes there are kid shows that are a little darker. Ones that traumatize you. I remember back—
Wait. It was there. This is the show. Oh my God, I hated this show. Dude, the art style of this show makes my skin crawl, man. Absolutely disgusting shit.
I remember back in elementary school around Halloween time, my teacher decided she would put something on for the class to watch. She had done this before, so we were all excited. I was excited. We all sat in rows on the colorful rug, crisscross applesauce, everybody's knees touching, and she rolled out one of those old big TVs, the ones that give you that fuzzy feeling when you touch them. I was stoked. I was excited to see SpongeBob.
It's gonna be that one time where that one teacher turned on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and every kid in the room was just like, I don't know if y'all ever heard about that, but a teacher did that and he got fired.
Or Shrek, or whatever it could be. But when she turned on the TV, it wasn't Shrek or SpongeBob. It was Goosebumps. Oh. Some of y'all may have forgotten or may just be too young. But
I loved Goosebumps, but holy did this show freak any child out in the vicinity. It was a scary one.
When I tell y'all this show used to give me nightmares, I mean nightmares. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be facing my fears and I'll be going over some of the episodes that were buried deep in my subconscious with y'all. And in the end, I'll go over the episode that scared me the most as a child.
This character is the most iconic character in Goosebumps, but the episode that I remember the clearest was like the family went to an amusement park that was abandoned, and one by one they started disappearing, I believe. I think that's how it went, but I don't quite remember exactly.
So strap in. Starting with the one known as the scariest to the general public.
The haunted mask.
And then we follow these two girls who stumble across this novelty shop in the middle of the night and straight off the jump, turn around and go home. Please. These two girls are Sabrina, aka the main character's best friend, and our main character, Carly Beth. What kind of name?
That is one of the oldest grandmother names I have ever heard in my life. Carly Beth, do you want to come out for dinner? It sounds mad country. It sounds mad old. Like, I'm gonna walk into your house. There's going to be wallpaper on your room, and the kitchen table is going to be like the circular one that's wooden, but it has a bunch of chips in it because grandpa used to put his cigarette butts out on it. I know exactly what this house looks like.
In typical horror fashion, our main character is fascinated by the novelty shop and wants to go in. I mean, it has scary mask and an ominous man watching them. Who wouldn't want to go in? But before she can even take a step into the shop, her best friend Sabrina tells her no. Thankfully, that's a good friend. But after they leave, we see why Carly Beth was so interested in those scary looking masks. You see, Carly Beth is constantly being bullied in the form of people scaring her. These boys from school, her best friend, her little bro.
Yeah, because her name sucks. Yeah, I would also be bullying her full time. That would be my full-time job in elementary school. I'm bullying a little girl named Carly Beth all day long. The parents are gonna be like, oh, don't worry, he just likes you. No, I don't. And you up your child's life by naming them Carly Beth. Sorry, not sorry. Either choose Carly or choose Beth. Don't use Carly Beth. It doesn't work.
Brother, I'll be scaring her because she's a big scaredy cat. And honestly, relatable. Not anymore, but I used to be the most sensitive, easy to scare kid on the face of the earth.
Me too. I'm not gonna lie. Kenny used to scare me in college. That shit would actually like really upset me.
And let me tell you, crying at every horror movie gets old. And it was starting to get old for Carly Beth too. The next day at school was the last straw. During lunchtime, the two boys that scared her from the night before come over to her table to apologize, saying they were just joshing around, having some fun, but Carly Beth was not having it. She tells them whatever, just go away. But when they go away and Carly Beth takes a bite of her sandwich, she notices this PB&J is a little more chewy than normal and tastes a little like...
Imagine that. Is that actual dog shit? No, it's gotta be like a slugger worm or something. There's gotta be some. I was gonna say, imagine there's some dog shit in there. This looks like dog shit. This,
live worm in her sandwich.
That is not a worm. This is a worm? Nah, that's not a worm, dude. This is disgusting.
Man, that's not even a prank. That gotta be some form of attempted murder, because what the actual... This was the last straw for Carly Beth. She had been humiliated. Her self-esteem was destroyed. She was so mad, she destroyed her duck costume. It was getting serious. She wanted revenge. She was tired of being the one who's constantly scared. She wanted to finally be the one doing some of the scaring. So she goes to the one place where she knows she could find something scary. The novelty shop.
Yo,
Carly Beth gets in and is met with this creepy old dude who, although is hesitant at first, lets Carly Beth shop around. My dog. Carly Beth browsing around and she's not really rocking with any of the masks. They're not scary enough. Conveniently though, she finds this back room that has exactly what she's looking for. A scary mask. But when she goes to grab it, the old dude comes out of nowhere and tells her,
not that one.
These masks are not for sale. Carly Beth persists and tries to give him a whopping 30 bucks. Hold on, 30 bucks? But the old man still says no.
Back then, 30 bucks? That was some bread. That was some breeze, dude. I don't even know how a girl in this time period would have 30 bucks just on her. Like, there's no way.
Come on, dude. 30 bucks? That's like a meal at Chick-fil-A. What are you doing? Old dude tells her she's not ready for the responsibility of the mask and it's super dangerous. But while he's explaining, Carly Beth steals the mask and runs out. She's a thug. And for some reason, the old dude doesn't chase her. He just yells and closes the door. I mean... Carly Beth finally got what she needed to get revenge on the bullies, but she was gonna regret that real soon. Carly Beth gets home and immediately puts the mask to work, scaring her little brother. And that was only the beginning. She suits up for Halloween, taking with her this weird replica of herself that her mom made for her. I don't know. And picks up Sabrina to go looking for the bullies. She's hunting. And this is what we noticed. The mask is making Carly Beth act a little more peculiar.
A little strange.
Y'all like that word? Y'all like that? She's more aggressive, scaring random kids, scaring random moms, and even scaring Sabrina. Sabrina confronts her about this, and Carly Beth's only answer is, the mask made me do it. Okay, so if you grab me like that again and I punch you, just know my fist made me do it. Carly Beth eventually runs away for some reason and stumbles upon exactly who she wanted to find. The bullies. And a perfect setting too. She approaches them and they're immediately wetting their pants, talking about how they was just goofing around and they only did those things to Carly Beth because they liked her. Oh, how could we?
And then she immediately murks them. She starts biting one of their faces off. The other one starts, Bro, that would be amazing if that's how Goosebumps actually went. That's how Goosebumps should have gone.
We all be so stupid. The old worm in the sandwich movie, eh? Yo, panty dropper, forgot about that one. Carly Beth successfully scares them off after the replica head of herself whispers to the boys, help me. And Carly Beth afterwards buries the replica head and returns home. I'm sure at this point some of y'all already know what's going on, but it gets even clearer when Carly Beth gets home and is finally ready to take off the mask. But when she tries to, it hurts. She can't seem to take it off for some reason.
Actually, they came out with a movie similar to this a couple years later. The Clown, I think it's called, or Clown. It's one of the two, where the dad put on a clown mask and he couldn't take it off. And then he like turned into the demon clown and just started eating everybody. That movie's fucked. That movie's really bad, but it's a good movie. It's bad in the sense of like what happens, but it's a good movie. I would suggest anybody go watch it.
So she asks Sabrina to help her. When Sabrina goes to check, she sees there's no line between the mask and Carly Beth's skin. She even runs to the bathroom and sees the eyes in the mirror aren't her eyes anymore. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she has become one with the mask. This was insanely scary as a kid. Getting stuck as your Halloween mask? Heck nah. It's bad enough that it's this mask because, let's be real, if you were stuck looking like that, you are not pulling a single person. Like,
yeah, you're cooked. It's over. Meet Iron Man.
just scratch having kids off the list, please. But I think if it was one of those random funny masks, it'd be even worse. Like, imagine just trying to trick or treat one year, your mask gets stuck on you and now you're stuck as the 44th President Barack Obama or something. Like, I ain't signed up for this. Carly Beth runs back to the novelty shop where the old dude is waiting for her and he explains to her that that's her new face now. Carly Beth understandably starts tweaking out, but the old man interrupts her and tells her that there might be one last chance to remove it with a symbol of love. Self-love. He starts explaining to her how he was just like her and he didn't love himself. Blah, blah, blah. This ain't about you, bruh. But before Carly Beth can know what a symbol of self-love is, the other masks start floating off the shelf. This may look goofy, but you gotta understand, as a kid, this stuff was scary, bruh. Floating heads chasing you? Come on, buddy.
Yeah, dude. I remember one night my mom told me to go upstairs to grab something and like I walked past her room and then when I was coming back, I looked back in. The Iron iron was just floating in the air, I still to this day believe that house was haunted. Nobody could tell me otherwise. The house was haunted. 100%. The iron was getting ready to burn my face as a 6-year-old.
Be real, it's a little scary. The heads chase Carly Beth all the way back to the cemetery where she buried her replica head, and they start backing off as soon as she raises it up, accepting that the crybaby scaredy cat girl she tried to bury is her, and she should love her regardless. Carly Beth is finally able to take off the mask. Woo! Yeah, all right, let's go. Yep. She goes home and hugs her mom, who had been worried about her all night. And while they're talking about Carly Beth's night, they turn around to see the little brother wearing the mask. Boom. And then the episode ends. Pretty scary, huh? Pretty scary.
The little boy deserved it though. That mask better not come off his face. It better not.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't just burn the mask or throw it away. But that's the one deemed the scariest to the general public. That's still not the one that I found the scariest.
This one.
But before I go over that one, I have to go over one that I found almost as scary as the scariest, but for a different reason.
The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I don't remember this one at all.
Unlike most Goosebumps episodes, this one doesn't have a possessed mask or a werewolf or anything.
Twilight Zone is still like a scary concept to adults. The fact that you were watching Twilight Zone as a kid, yeah, I would understand that it was scary as shit.
Like that. So you're probably wondering what makes for a different reason. Unlike most Goosebumps episodes, this one doesn't have a possessed mask or a werewolf or anything like that. So you're probably wondering what makes it so scary. In this one, we follow a boy named Michael whose life might be worse than Carly Beth's. Like Carly Beth, he's constantly being bullied, but instead of it being some boys or his best friend or his little brother, it's his little sister. Sorry. And obviously, since she's a sweet, innocent little sister, she can mess.
You're getting bullied by your little sister? What a bitch! Oh my god, you're letting your little sister bully you? Come on. Come on, gang!
With him and never get in trouble. Michael was sick of it. He wanted some payback. Sorry. And obviously, since she's a sweet, innocent little sister, she can mess with him and never get in trouble. Michael was sick of it. He wanted some payback. So the day his dad came home with one of those old big clocks and told his sister not to touch it, he saw an opportunity. He gets up in the middle of the night and makes his way towards the clock. And when he gets there, instead of doing, some actual noticeable damage, he just
stuffs her in it as soon as it hits 12. Cuckoo! Cuckoo! And it just slams on her head.
Slightly turns the head of the bird that comes out the clock, which is... yeah, that'll show him. But when Michael wakes up the next day, things are different. Very different. It's his birthday. Mind you, his birthday had already passed. Like, it was a few days ago. So you know what that means. 2 B-days. Hey! Michael had gone back in time. And this is what I meant when I said this episode is scary for a different reason. Because every time Michael wakes up, he gets younger and younger. Going from a tween to a kid to a baby. That's scary. And it's not like when he turns into a baby, he's back to having baby thoughts. No, he's just Michael with the mobility of a baby. I would hate that. Even at my lowest of lows in life, I never, ever wanted to revert back to being a baby. I got too much left in the tank to...
yeah, but like, can you just reverse it and start going back in the future? Like, wouldn't you be so intellectual by the time that you're aged up? You've got it. That's kind of a good thought to have.
Stop. And it wouldn't have just stopped at being stuck as a baby. Next day, he would have been back in the womb. The day after that, back in the sack. And eventually, ceasing to exist, which is essentially death. Sort of. Luckily for Michael though, he realized the way to prevent himself from getting any younger was to turn back the bird's head that he messed up earlier, effectively saving himself from having to go back in the sack and essentially death. Sort of. But like I said, although this episode is scary, it's still not the one I found the scariest when I was little. This title belongs to no other than the Night of the Living Dummy.
Everybody's scariest episode. Every single person's scariest episode. If you ever watch Goosebumps, this is the episode that really frightens you.
In this one, we follow a girl named Amy, and unlike the other two protagonists before her, Amy has no bullies or anyone she wants to get revenge on. Nothing. Just an older and younger sibling, making her the middle child, so no one likes her. And she's definitely the most unique out of
I feel that, sadly. I'm a middle child. Doesn't feel great. I'm not gonna lie to you.
the 3 too. You see, Amy's into the very, very random hobby that is ventriloquism. That's when people use dolls to talk and pretend like they're not talking, and you couldn't learn how to juggle or something. And one day while showing off her skills, her doll Dennis falls apart. Ah, bummer. Guess you gotta find something else to do. But luckily for Amy, her dad got her a new doll, a dummy named Slappy. But unlike Dennis, Slappy is no regular doll. You see, after Amy perfectly reads some Latin text that comes with Slappy, it turns out he's alive. And this...
Brother, the moment that you see any Latin text, you put whatever you have in your hands away. Don't even read that shit. I mean, I don't even know how did this little girl read Latin text? There in the episode at some point it had to be like, oh yeah, I take Latin in school. Why am I talking in like what type of accent was that? That just came out of nowhere. It sounded like British or Scottish or something. I don't know.
Stupid, ugly doll is the sole reason I couldn't watch this episode as a kid. For some backstory, I was already scared of dolls as a kid because of Chucky. So when I saw another evil looking doll that likes to crack jokes and he's ginger, it brought back trauma. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Slappy was doing the same things Chucky was doing. He wasn't murking people or anything. It was close, but he was doing something that as a kid could be perceived worse than death. He was getting Amy in trouble with her parents, messing up family paintings, making fun of her family. He even attacked a family friend. And all these things may seem tame, like no big deal, right? But imagine if Amy had immigrant parents. Yeah. After Slappy doing all these things and then trying to murk Amy's dad.
Okay, I get the joke that they would beat the shit out of you, but like realistically, Slappy was just a menace. He was a menace to every household. This dude sucked.
With a guitar? My fault, Slappy. I didn't know you had it in you. Amy decides to finally get rid of Slappy by throwing him down a drain. And he does this funny scream when it happens. Hey, kid, wait. But that very same night, Slappy returns, threatening her family and telling Amy she will be his slave forever. Yeah, you could try saying that to her, Slapster, but try saying that to me and you're gonna end up trending on Twitter, buddy. At this point, Amy's sister finally sees that Slappy's actually alive, and they also realize Slappy is a doll, a hollow doll that you could like push over and kick and stuff, which kind of makes my fear of this dude coming after me as a kid a bit irrational, but whatever. Slappy chases them around the house, eventually catching them off guard and tripping Amy. And as he was standing over her talking about how the family belongs to him now or whatever, two things didn't make sense to me. One, why is the sister just watching him stand over Amy? And two, why is Amy so hell-bent on grabbing the broom to attack Slappy? You literally just shoved him upstairs. Kick the dude, bruh.
I didn't realize that Slappy was low-key racist. He must have been built in like the late to early 30s. He had to be walking around telling everybody that the family belongs to him now. That's crazy. That's cancel culture immediately. Goosebumps knew what they were doing when they did that.
Anyways, while Slappy is standing over Amy, out of nowhere, someone tackles Slappy, causing him to shatter his face on the fireplace, releasing the evil gas in his system. What the? Amy and her sister are confused as the family comes downstairs, including her brother. Wait a minute, if the brother wasn't the one who tackled Slappy, then who did? We see on the table Amy's old dummy Dennis is alive, and they gave him the voice of Goofy for some reason. Gosh, it's good to be back in the family. Boom, and then the episode ends. Slappy eventually returns again in Night of the Living Dummy 3 with freaking Anakin Skywalker. Then he returns again in Bride of the Living Dummy where Slappy gets a shorty. And eventually
they literally made Slappy the Chucky of the Goosebumps universe, and I had no idea about that.
He returned the third time in the movies, but that Slappy sucks. Sorry, not sorry. Hopefully you guys can see why I found this show so creepy as a kid, and if you don't, I don't blame you. There's a lot of goofy moments. And moral of the story?
Nah, that was a great video. Shout out DerekFDB once again. Love Goosebumps. Would I watch it now? Probably not. It's probably a cringe fest now, but great show when I was a child.
I don't think this love for me. I don't think you the one for me. I don't think you see me when you fucking up all in your dream. I don't think you got trust for me. Just ain't what I see.